Tesla stock will go up in the next 2 to 3 months and continue its rally, says Jim Thorne, who's predicting that Tesla stock is going to $700 next year, and he has tens of billions of dollars under management. Elon Musk believes that this is the most exciting moment in Tesla's history. This is coming from the guy that 10x Tesla stock before, from its initial public offering more than once. The actual appreciation is 37,000%. And the guy that did that to Tesla stock so far is saying that this is the most exciting moment for Tesla in its history. And consider this to be a warning from Elon Musk to all Tesla stock investors. For that said, okay, so I'm officially off to the joystick train and fully on millions of Tesla Robotaxis roaming the streets way sooner than most people realize, and Elon Musk says should be obvious to people at this point. That's a warning from Elon Musk. And yet, many people are choosing to consciously ignore the amazing progress from FSD, and they are not willing to even give it a chance. They're not, like Gordon Johnson, for example, he has never even tried FSD once, he admits that. But if you haven't tried the latest Tesla self-driving, you are missing out. It will blow your mind how good it is. It's pure magic, says Elon Musk. There's quite a bit of news and new predictions about Tesla stock and Tesla. Dan Ives, for example, is predicting that Tesla's earnings will be $15 per share in the next 5 years, which would be an 8x increase from today. And if you keep the PE ratio at 75, then that would equal to a stock price of $1,125. Dan Ives also strongly believes that in the next 2 to 3 years, we will be in the bull market. And of course, that Tesla will lead the AI revolution. And stock astrologists are having a good time with Tesla, predicting that a $505 Tesla stock could be imminent. Personally, I am more focused on fundamental news like this one. Tesla Shanghai factory is actually sold out for the year. Now, we don't have that many days left, but this is still good to hear. We know that Tesla China will have a record quarter, and Tesla overall should have a record quarter almost certainly at this point. It's just by how much is really the question. Elon Musk in the past has been too optimistic about full self-driving progress speed, but this time, and eventually, if not this time, eventually he is going to be right, while everyone watches in amazement, realizing, oh, we just missed out on perhaps the biggest opportunity of our lifetime to invest in something that was right in front of our eyes, something that we have been following for a long time, but we just chose to consciously ignore it, even though we knew about it, we have heard about it, we have seen people talk about it, we have seen the crazy full self-driving videos with so much progress, and yet, because Elon Musk before said it's coming next year and then it didn't, and then he said it's coming next year and then it didn't, and then he said it's coming next year and then it didn't, and then he said it's coming next year and then it did. We chose to ignore it. And the thing that's really different about this time is that Tesla's actual engineers, the people that work on FSD, are also extremely bullish. And the people that are testing FSD, they are also telling us that the progress is mind-blowing, like AI Driver, like Chuck Cook, and many others. Also, a Tesla engineer just said that GPUs were actually activated for FSD V13.2.2. So Tesla is going hard with this one, obviously. And a Tesla engineer says that a wide release of FSD V13 is actually coming, and he confirms that it does feel like a personal robotaxi. Wow, I'm not sure I would go that far, but certainly I can understand why he would say that after watching all of these videos. Now, of course, this version is only going to be available right now for AI 4 cars. And actually, we are seeing a bigger rollout right now. The release also includes a holiday update, which usually just adds a few extra features to the vehicle. This also means if you already received the holiday update but not FSD V13 yet, you are about to get it. Now, will AI 3 cars get FSD V13 eventually? Now, Omar believes, of course it will. It will have reverse, the start FSD button, everything. This will launch next year. Right now, FSD 12.6 for AI 3 is on the way with some major improvements. But personally, I really only care about this as a consumer and not as an investor. As an investor, I only care about AI 4 and FSD V13 progress at the moment, because if we make that safer than human driving, then of course, full self-driving will be deployed to robotaxis and Tesla's cash flow is going to increase substantially, Tesla's valuation is going to jump, and eventually, if AI 3 vehicles cannot be safer than human drivers, then of course Tesla would replace the hardware, but Elon Musk is still convinced that AI 3 is going to be good enough. It's just that it would definitely take some more time to make that work, and it wouldn't be as safe as AI 4 cars. And Jack Cook replies to Elon Musk here, confirming that yes, it is mind-blowing. Everyone needs to put their friends and family in the seat of a Tesla driving V13 this holiday season, blow their minds, and also explain how it is doing pure end-to-end AI. Herbert also points out that, yeah, the confidence level is not just from Elon Musk, but from the rest of the Tesla AI team. And this is what makes this particular time so different from all other predictions that Elon Musk has made before about full self-driving. And if you want to experience the future with AI, really all you need to do is get a Tesla vehicle with hardware 4 that has FSD V13 already, and you will experience it for just $99 per month. And this clip is getting Tesla investors excited. The vehicle is able to easily back out and effortlessly start the trip. And here, as a vehicle approaches this tricky situation, it easily gets itself out of it effortlessly, quickly, and fast. Of course, it does need to make quite a few stops and gear shifts, but it was a tight spot. So Omar is definitely right here. Even if you have been using FSD for years, you have never seen your car make moves like with FSD V13. And I agree with Sawyer here. I feel like I'm watching insider information here because 99% of people have no clue of the incredible progress Tesla is making right now at this very moment. And yet, it's in front of our eyes. We can see it. Most people are ignoring this. And it's going to be too late when they realize, oh, this actually was a big deal. Because the stock by then will have rallied even harder. And we have now gotten to a place that a 25-minute drive with no interventions, nothing, is a day-to-day occurrence. This is no longer interesting to anyone. This only got 674 views on YouTube, despite it actually being a pretty sizable achievement. I mean, these drives now, they happen every single day. This is becoming a routine occurrence now. And investors are raving about this clip. Let's take a look.
All right, we are here at 5 points, so now I should just do a left-hand turn. Oh, what's it doing here? Oh, it's doing that scenario where it's got to go. Oh, can it make that radius? Oh, it can't do it. Oh, it forced itself into a scenario. Look at it doing this 3-point turn so quickly. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was crazy. I mean, it got itself into a jam. That's my U-turn scary scenario that I'm worried about on 50-mile-an-hour roads, is it gets itself into a corner and it's got to do the little Austin Powers, 15-point turn to get out of it. There were cars that had to wait because I was doing this, what was probably an illegal maneuver. It was treating that 5 points like a roundabout, and it really isn't. It's more of a, I don't know what you call it, but it's crazy. But anyway, what you just witnessed was very rapid decision making and 3-point turning around about twice in order to get itself the angle it needed to do a U-turn. All the while making cars wait for us. But what I'm really, really proud of, and I'm giving you a clap here for that, Tesla AI, is you realized you're in a jam and you just didn't give up. You worked it out. And that is what a Robotaxi has to be able to do.
It's inevitable that Tesla vehicles, Robotaxis, will get themselves into some tricky situations that it never should have gotten itself into in the first place. But what's really important, what really matters is that it doesn't cause a safety issue, that it does it quickly, gets itself out of that situation, that it does so in a safe manner to everyone, and that it doesn't give up, that it doesn't just stop and park itself in this ridiculously awkward situation, blocking traffic, causing headaches for everyone involved. No, it doesn't give up. It just keeps going and gets itself out of this tricky situation quickly. And it's not like human drivers never get themselves into a jam like that. I mean, if it's your first place driving in a completely new city and everything is new to you, you're gonna drive slower. You will have to pay more attention, and you might make a mistake here or there, and that's okay. That's relatively expected. But what you have just witnessed here is human-like behavior, and it's only going to get better from here on. So later on, it's of course a lot less likely to get itself into a jam like this in the first place. And this is such a typical experience of someone trying and experiencing FSD V13 for the first time. Check this out. Just spent 20 minutes with V13.2.2 and I'm still trying to comprehend with what I just experienced. I took it to the tightest street I knew. Never in a million years did I think an autonomous car could get itself out of this situation, but it did, and he believes the Tesla AI team solved it. And what does this mean for Tesla and Robotaxis overall? Of course, they are going to be here sooner than most people realize. So what happened here is he got the car to drive here, and then the vehicle had to do these maneuvers to get itself out of it. And of course, now we know that Teslas can do this. So how impressive does it look now? To us, it's now becoming routine. But do not underestimate what's happening here. This is end-to-end AI. This is not programmed. This doesn't say, oh, if you get into this jam, do these turns until you get out of it. No, it just knows it needs to do this, which means it can anticipate and predict what it needs to do in all other situations as well. It's becoming alive. It's able to sort of think now. And the dirty Tesla can here is raving about this U-turn that his car just did. He believes it's one of the smoothest, craziest, most human-like U-turns he's seen from FSD videos. And here's another post. Zero disengagement, FSD drive back from San Diego to LA, 120 miles. This is quite a long ride. FSD V13 on hurry mode continues to be fire, says Zach. And this is becoming a lot more common as FSD gets better. And this is going to be something that you will definitely want to have on if you have FSD because of this.
Isn't it amazing? Here I am just driving down the road talking to you guys about accessory modifications. Look at it. It stopped right here. Interesting. Oh, look at the cat. It stopped for the cat. I'm sitting here. What is he waiting for? And the Cybertruck was waiting on the cat. The cat wasn't even in the road. Nice job, Tesla. Once again, the dumb human didn't see it. Cybertruck was waiting. I didn't know why.
On V12, I had a few somewhat similar experiences, not exactly like that, and definitely not as crazy as this one, but I had moments where I'm like, why are you doing this? This is silly. And then I'm like, oh, that's why. We know that computers don't get tired. They don't blink. They see everything 360 all of the time, non-stop, which is going to make the vehicles much more safer. Basically, Elon Musk describes Tesla's full self-driving system, eventually even safer than human driving. It's going to see everything in slow motion. To a supercomputer, everything that we see is actually slow motion. And I will call Tesla's computers inside of Tesla's vehicles supercomputers because they will be able to drive much safer than human drivers eventually, making them superior to humans. And so Tesla, from its public account, is posting a Robotaxi feature is closer than you probably think. And so this created a lot of speculation among Tesla investors and talking. Whoa, says Herbert, am I the only one reading too much into this? Just yesterday, Elon also posted saying it should be obvious to people at this point, responding to a post that Robotaxis are coming way sooner than everyone thinks. And so people are discussing how FSD V13.2 from their experience is working under different circumstances. For example, here, FSD V13.2 is Robotaxi ready, says Juliana, just drove it for 2 hours through heavy rain, sleet, fog, and thick blizzard snow. Perfect. No interventions for 2 hours. My guess is the internal intervention data is backing up that the new version of FSD that Tesla is testing is much better than a human driver. I wouldn't go that far, but that it's definitely much better than the previous version, absolutely. And maybe in specific circumstances, it could be better than a human already, but overall, when putting everything together, it's not yet. We all know that. It's not perfect, but it's going to get better, and it's going to get better fast. And we know that last year, FSD was essentially unusable on slick and snowy roads. Matt Smith tried it again last week on roads that were hard to drive on and hard not to fishtail on, and was shocked to see FSD handle it perfectly. He predicts that Tesla is very close to a universal solution for autonomous driving in all conditions. It's just a matter of time. And that matter of time is becoming shorter and shorter and shorter. And it's going to catch most people by surprise. But also a warning to everyone who's downloading FSD V13 right now, it's definitely not perfect, and this is an example of it. There was one issue with it that Omar just experienced. I'll play the video and see if he can spot what happened here. What happened that shouldn't have happened. So the car is driving here, and at this moment, it blew through that stop sign here. Now, the stop sign was a bit hidden, but there was another sign warning about an incoming stop sign. I think the car slowed down a little bit, but it didn't stop. Also, there weren't any cars coming from the other side, so if there was a car, probably it would have slowed down and maybe even stopped and let the car go. But there were no cars. We don't know what would have happened. And certainly not a good thing to have gone that fast past that stop sign. Now, Omar explains that the videos that he posts about FSD are not meant to entertain people. He simply records real drives that he does every single day, and then he just posts them on YouTube, and then you can see the progression and the progress that FSD has made so far. And the performance of FSD feels like material information, and I want to share it with any investor who is curious. Swimmer has just done some investigative work uncovering which brands in the US actually get the most recalls. We just heard a few days ago that Tesla was undergoing through another recall supposedly, but it was just a software update, so not an actual recall. It turns out that Fiat Chrysler was actually the most recalled automaker in the US in 2024, while Tesla was one of the least. Tesla's over-the-air software update recalls in the US affected only 5 million vehicles, which is actually a lot when you think about it, but it's because one vehicle can be canned more than once. But then, in contrast, Tesla's physical recalls requiring a visit to a service center affected only 39,000, and in this case, actually only 39,000, accounting for just under 1% of the total. You can see the list here. Ford is actually number 2, then BMW, GM, Mercedes, Hyundai, Jaguar, Land Rover, Kia, Honda, Volkswagen, Nissan, Toyota, and Tesla is better than Toyota. You mean to tell me that the company, the brand, that is best known for its reliability and for being indestructible, supposedly, when you get a Toyota, it supposedly lasts forever, Tesla is doing better than Toyota here? This is not, by the way, a knock on Toyota. This shows you how reliable, how good Tesla vehicles are when compared to the best of the best of the best. Now, I wouldn't take Rivian or Lucid here too seriously because they haven't really made that many cars yet. So it's easy for issues to sort of just slip. And when someone comes in with a problem to a Rivian dealership, they might just say, oh, you know what, we'll just fix it for you. Let's not make this like a recall thing, you know? I am actually really surprised, though, that Volvo only had 4 recalls. What's really interesting, though, is that this list specifically combines both software and physical recalls. So when you combine both, Tesla is still actually doing really well. Now, when we look at physical recalls only, it gets even better for Tesla. So look at Toyota. Still, it had 16 recalls and Tesla only had 7. And here's the number of over-the-air software update recalls for each automaker. Tesla had 8, Lucid 3, Hyundai 1, Rivian 1, Nissan 1, everyone else 0. It's not that Tesla is doing something wrong with its software. If anything, it shows us how much power Tesla has with its software in its vehicles to be able to fix stuff that usually would require an in-store service visit. But in the case of Tesla, Tesla has such good software engineering talent that they can just do a software update. And no other automaker possesses such talent in such quantity. And so when you look at the industry, not even 5% of all of the recalls are software updates. And yet in Tesla's case, Tesla is able to make 57% of their recalls just software updates. This is actually, if you are a very logical person that does all of his research, this is actually a huge selling point of a Tesla vehicle, because your chances of actually having to go to a service center to service your vehicle just because your vehicle got a recall are dramatically reduced, because even if there is something wrong with your car, you will just get a software update more likely than not. And I'm speaking from personal experience here, by the way. The mainstream media has done an excellent job of convincing people that Teslas break all the time and or need fixing. But that couldn't be further from the truth. I actually know of someone who was thinking very seriously about buying a Tesla, but then read some of these headlines, and Tesla did happen to have a software recall at the time of when that person was looking at buying a new vehicle, and immediately Tesla was no longer on the list to consider. But none of that really actually matters, because that will no longer be a problem. Once Tesla makes full self-driving safer than human driving, that will just move its volume like you would never believe, and the stock, of course, will rally. And here's another Model Y Juniper spotting. This time it was spotted in California, so inevitably the launch of the Tesla Model Y Juniper is inevitable. Really, it's imminent. There are also rumors that Tesla Cybertruck could launch in China in January. I'm not so sure how true this is because Elon Musk earlier said that's not really happening. So I would be very skeptical about this, but there's a chance. We have seen, for example, some paperwork from Tesla that they submitted and that was approved in China actually for the Cybertruck. So it's possible, but I don't see it as likely. What instead I see as very likely is this repeating itself again. Tesla achieved profitability in 2013. We were told that retail investors got lucky. Tesla achieves mass production in 2019. Retail got lucky again. It's only 2 times. Tesla solves self-driving in 2025 at scale, it says Farzad. Retail got lucky again. Tesla solves human robots at scale eventually. Retail got lucky again. At some point, you have to understand this is not luck. I also spotted this, which is pretty interesting. We know that Tesla is currently looking for a performance test driver, and probably multiple positions like that are open. But pay attention to the specific wording here. Maintain Tesla's confidentiality with respect to prototype hardware, okay, software, okay, and unreleased vehicle programs. Now, it could be specifically just about the Cybercab because technically it's not a vehicle that has been released, although it has been announced. It could also, however, mean that some vehicles have not been even announced yet. 2025 is almost here, 2024 is almost over, and Elon agrees that 2025 will be incredibly entertaining and productive, and that's really inevitable for Elon Musk overall. The next 2 years, those are going to be quite something. And for Tesla, this is, like Elon said, the most interesting time in its history. Kevin O'Leary was just on TV talking about Elon Musk very positively. Take a look at this.
How would you rate the level of jealousy that these CEOs have of Elon Musk?
Well, Musk brings something to the table that many of them don't have. They've all been very successful. But Elon Musk is an extraordinary individual when it comes to executional skills. So when you hear him say he's going to implement cost savings in government, it's hard to find a place where he hasn't chosen a mandate and been successful at it. So I'm very interested in hearing what his recommendations would be about cutting costs. There's a lot of fat in government. Everybody knows that, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. So this is a very interesting role he's taken on. And I think it's going to yield some fruit. And I think some of these recommendations are going to be acknowledged by the president, who will give him executional ability to implement them. So I don't see anything wrong here. I don't care what side of the fence you're on, red or blue or independent. You know government is dripping with fat, and it's your tax money funding it.
And there's also a lot of pushback from the enemies of Elon Musk against Elon, saying that, oh, it's actually not going to be Trump who's going to be the president. It's going to be Musk, the president. But Trump addressed this.
And we will create the new Department of Government Efficiency headed by Elon Musk. And no, he's not taking the presidency. I like having smart people. You know, they're on a new kick. Russia, 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 Ukraine, 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 all the different hoaxes. And the new one is, President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, that's not happening. But Elon's done an amazing job. Isn't it nice to have smart people that we can rely on? Right? Don't we want that? He's done a great job.
And then he pointed out the obvious. Elon Musk was not born in the US, so therefore he cannot be the president. So the enemies of Elon Musk pushing that narrative, that's just so pathetic. And it is certainly going to be great for Tesla to have an ally in the White House as opposed to someone who has never acknowledged any progress made by SpaceX, for example, or Tesla. And they didn't even invite Tesla to the EV summit. So I'm looking forward to the next 2 years, especially when Doge is going to clean up the US government big time. This will start a golden age in the US, and therefore indirectly it will help Tesla as well. Tesla stock today is doing fairly well. It's up about 3% as I'm recording, and I believe that Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share eventually. And then after that, well above that. And the rest of this video is going to be available on Patreon. My name is Matt Posius. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And because it's Christmas, the next video maybe is going to be available on Friday or sometime next week. I'll see about that depending on how much news we have. If there's quite a bit of news, expect a video from me on Friday. If not, then sometime later next week.